Hello and welcome to American Stories. I'm Saida Pagan. In America today, there are few stories more significant than the importance of social media in our daily lives. And while many know how to use social media effectively, there's still millions of others trying to figure out search engine optimization or how to gain more followers. Well, I was recently in conversation with one marketing expert who's on a mission to demystify one popular social media platform. Today on American Stories, our guest is Corey Walker, who's known as the marketing specialist. She's come up with two fabulous books to help business people better understand how to use social media. Welcome to our program, Corey.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, give us the title of your books and why is it that you decided to write them?
So we have Instagram for Dummies and we have Instagram for Business for Dummies. And it's, I didn't exactly decide to write them. They came to me. I have a friend who has written several Dummies books, and he is an expert at writing Dummies books. So there's a certain tone, a certain template that you have to go through to write these books. And so he was approached by Wiley about writing. The first book was Instagram for Business for Dummies. And so they had approached him about writing that. And he was not an expert on Instagram. And we were good friends. We'd known each other for a long time. And he knew that I was using it heavily for my business and for my clients. And so he asked me if I would be the subject matter expert on it. So that is how it came to be.
That's fabulous. So tell us, what can anyone learn from these books? And I'm sure it's a lot.
Yes. Well, there's the reason there are two books is because the Instagram for Dummies books is purely for someone that wants to learn from the beginning to the end of how to use Instagram just on a personal basis. So, creating a bio, creating how to upload a photo or a video, really basic through the whole, every feature. The Instagram for Business book is really for that small business owner or even larger companies that want to use Instagram to promote, their products, services, anything like that. So the business book is the one that really goes deep into all the different tactics that people are using now to market their businesses on Instagram.
I advise so many businesses about what they should or should not do. And everywhere you go, everyone talks about Instagram as being kind of like that magic formula to getting more followers, to getting more clients, customers. Is that true?
Well, I mean, the thing that I really like about Instagram is it goes across the breadth of so many different types of people, types of businesses. You've got your 13-year-olds on there, and then you've got your 80-year-olds on there. It really goes a really wide range, and any type of hobby or business or need you could want, you can find it somehow on Instagram. So what I like about it is it appeals to a massive audience. Facebook has really aged up, and I have a 19-year-old and a 15-year-old, and they're like, nope, I'm not going to do Facebook. And then you've got TikTok, and it's starting to age up, but it's still a younger platform. But Instagram really, it covers it all. And because they take little pieces from every other app, they have everything that you might need and what you're comfortable with. So it really is a one-stop shop for everything.
So if I'm a business owner, give me some tips, some best practices for using Instagram.
Okay. So first of all, video is very important. Instagram has really taken video seriously with Reels. The last 2 years, they added Reels on there, and they pushed it in the algorithm super, super high. And then they backed off a little bit. So Reels are very important. It's not as important as they were a year ago, but they're still important. Video is important because people like to see other people. They like to get to know people better, and video is a perfect way to really show your personality. I would also say to make sure you're out there consistently. There's a lot of people that will go out there and they'll post something and then they won't go out for another 2 weeks. And you really need that consistency so people not only are looking for you and expecting, your content, but if you don't post hardly ever, your placement in the algorithm is going to go down a lot because Instagram just thinks that you're not very active, and obviously you're not. so that's going to help feed the algorithm a little bit more, as if you're out there consistently. Instagram also likes it when you use more of the platform. So don't just post to the feed, use some of the other areas like stories, the live function, Reels. They do like that when you do a little bit more using of the app. And anytime they come out with a new part of the app, if you can jump on that as soon as possible, that's usually also rewarded in the algorithm because they're trying to get quick adoption of it.
How do you increase the number of followers? I get that question all the time.
Well, one of the biggest ways is not only be consistent about what you're posting and have quality posts, but engage on other people's posts. So, if you go out and you make a point, say you set a timer for 15 minutes in the morning and you say, okay, I'm going to go out and purposely engage on other accounts. And when I say engage, I don't mean just liking, because no one really pays attention to individual likes. What I mean is going out and leaving a thoughtful comment about whatever it is that person posted. I do see people going out and just, you can tell they've copied and pasted like, nice, great job. That's not what I'm talking about. Put together a sentence or two that either maybe answers the question that they're posing in their video or their caption, or just has a comment that tells that they actually thought about what that post was about. And that will get you noticed more, and hopefully they'll respond with a like or a follow.
Do you believe that Instagram should be the go-to social media platform for businesses?
Well, I think they should. Yes. Yes,
And
I do
why?
think.
And why?
Yeah, no, I do. And it's kind of what I was talking about before, is that it really appeals to such a wide audience. And it does have so many different features in it, so that if you're more comfortable, I know someone that just does a bunch of stories every day, and she gets on video and she does a bunch of stories, and that's her vibe. That's what she does. There's some people that are more comfortable being in the feed. Now, I do like it when people mix it up and do, more than one thing, but if that's the only way you're going to get on the platform is to be in one area, and you can be consistent, then the nice thing about Instagram is it has a variety of options for whatever you're comfortable with.
How did you become known as the marketing specialist?
Well, back in my corporate days, many moons ago, that was my title. I'd been, communication specialist, marketing specialist, senior communication, like all these different things. But throughout it all, it was pretty much a marketing specialist. And so I just thought, well, what a great idea. What a great name for my business, the marketing specialist, because that is what I had done in the corporate world for a long time. And that's what I could really offer to my clients, because I had a breadth of knowledge in marketing that was, not only, well, it wasn't social media then, because when I started, there was no social media. But it was, email and newsletters and writing and designing and, all of those different things that I could offer to a client as a one-stop shop. So the marketing specialist kind of encapsulated all of that. And since I've had my business for 18 years, that URL was available. And I get a lot of comments from people saying, how did you get that? And I'm like, well, because I've had it since the dawn of time. So, yeah.
And people should know that they don't have to go it alone, correct? You can have a virtual assistant and you can have somebody like yourself helping.
Yeah, there's a variety of options, and that's something that I help people with. So some people will hire me directly to do all of their content, and I just work with them to really get to know what their business is about, what their content pillars are. So that's, say on social media, there's 5 main topics that I want to talk about all the time. So I get to know some of that from the client. But I also work with some companies that hire me to consult, but then they have a virtual assistant that helps, with posting and with some of the things. So they can do that at, a lower cost point, but still get all of their content out there. And then I will just kind of oversee it for them.
Before we end this conversation, one important thing that I've heard time and time again is about the importance of quality content. So could you elaborate a little bit on what quality content looks like?
Sure. Well, I think something that either educates or is humorous, or lets people know a little bit more about you as a person or your business in terms of, what the values are. What I don't like seeing is when people will just put up a bunch of stock photos, or they don't have a caption that has any meaning to it. Now, some of the younger influencers, that's a little bit different story, because they can post something and, it's just them doing something simple, and they'll post one word and it'll get a million likes. But when it's for business, I would say put your own personality into it, whether it's your business's personality or yours. Share some of your vulnerabilities, show that you're human, basically. I think is always helpful. So, yes, that's kind of what I think of when I think of quality content is just being real, and giving something back to the audience. And I tell people, would you follow you? Like, ask yourself that question. If you were out there and you saw these posts, would you follow you? And if the answer is no, then you have some work to do.
Well, thank you for putting it all together in these 2 amazing books. Corey Walker, the Marketing Specialist. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of American Stories. I'm Saida Pagan.